Alright, so quickly, this is as quickly as I can do. What's been done to the bike? First, we go with the most important, doesn't look like what it is, modes, is the foot pegs. They've been moved back by about 3.5 4 inches from here to here. Now what that does is improves your body position. First of all, your legs. If you're sitting here and your legs are, or your knees are much more forward, you see where your spine does, your back, you're sitting this instead of that. Well, from here, you move your backs, you move your obviously feet back, your knees back, it brings your spine in a natural straight position. This is the same principle as they use on the office chairs, that you put your legs back. It keeps your spine straight, you pay no effort, no muscles are actually going to be involved to keep you nice and straight and comfortable, and you can do much more mileage, much more roads without effort, easier. Also, very important thing is that many people actually used to raise them or take them off-road, they modify the fuel tank. They shave this part of the fuel tank, and the reason for that is too wide when you're standing up. When your foot peg is much forward, so I'm going to simulate this. Instead of having this here, I'm going to simulate this here. I want to stand forward in acceleration when you have to lean forward. Your legs are catching the tank, and it's quite uncomfortable because you can't really have your feet pointing in, your knees pointing out, and still be able to move on the bike. It's not very good. That's why they used to shave this, which is alright, great. But in my opinion, there was never a problem. The problem was the foot pegs. Look now. You see where my knees are? I'm moving my knees from the wide side of the fuel tank to the narrow side of the fuel tank, and I have no problems. I can move, I can go forward, I can lean, I can actually rest, I can use the tank with my knees to rest on it. No problems. From here, very bad actually, so I agree with people changing that. But to here, very good, very good. Sitting position again has been improved massively. You have more control, is more comfortable, and what happens is that I put these foot pegs out of the T7, like this, because I don't need it, it's a race bike now. And it happens that when I put my, obviously, boots here, the back of the boot actually rests on that if I want to get it close. I don't have to, but I use it. And it turns out to be very comfortable on the long journeys. That was pure case. I didn't make it in purpose. I just found out this is very good. I like it very much. So that's it. Another very important thing is that the standard exhaust on these bikes is a twin pipe that goes up to here. And what that happens is that the foot peg on this side of the frame is actually asymmetric from the left one. It's much more to the right. So when you're sitting, you don't have both legs in the same position. You have this leg be more there, and it's awkward. Same for the passenger, because obviously the exhaust is big and it's here, and the foot peg has to go over it to the other side. So they are symmetric, and I think this was always a big fuck up from the Yamaha on these models. Now the only symmetrical, a little bit closer to the frame, and road don't really feel any difference. Besides the fact that when you can have them closer, it's just more natural of the angle of your knees. If they are out, kind of put a bit of a stress on your joints. Again, small improvements, but little improvement here, little improvement there, little improvement there, and 3 improvements, you start feeling it quite a lot. So I think this was one of the biggest improvements as a body position, as a comfort, as a control of the bike on and off, especially standing up. Besides obviously more natural position when you're sitting down. I think that's very good. Position of the pegs changed a little, it's slightly lower, slightly more forward. So my missus or the passenger has been more open knees, and it's just better. Now the seat as we're in a position. The seat, people ask him what you've done with the seat because it's not as the original one. The original one goes fairly on the angle, and the passenger, every time you brake, even without braking, it slides forward awkwardly, and it's quite difficult. You have to hold yourself with your hands here, or when you're braking, it's still falling down. What I did, bit of a hump here. It's like on the old Honda Coroderos. They used to have something like this, and so a bit of a sponge here, bit of a hump. Doesn't bother me at all, and the passenger doesn't slide forward anymore. It's very comfortable, even when it's on the braking. If you're braking heavily, you have to hold yourself anyways, but just sitting is much more comfortable. Small improvements, small things, and the improvement is huge. Now under my seat, I just have a gel insert. I think it's about an inch, 3/4 of an inch or inch maybe, roughly thick. Just square, put it there, chop it obviously the same shape, and that's it. And very good. Obviously rises the seat a little, but they originally have very low seats, so you can rise it quite a lot and still be comfortable. And again, the sitting position is slightly better when you're slightly higher, because when you're sitting higher, because your knees open up a little. So that's it. That's your sitting position as your controls. Loads of improvement. To do that, to move the pegs, not very difficult. You can do something like I did. Use stainless big plates I had from the offcuts, obviously workshop. T7 foot pegs, so you can change for anything. T7 rally pegs or WR450s, rally pegs or normal pegs, whatever you want to do. However, the brake lever had to be changed, had to be modified, which I did, but the biggest job you have to do is to remove that exhaust, because that is actually on the way for the foot brake to be there. So that had to be custom made. I made that in stainless 316, never gonna show any rust, and TIG welded nicely, because obviously that's my job. Again, bring it back there. It's away from the passenger foot brake, so you've got plenty of space here, not catching with your boot, not burning out, and a nice Scorpion silencer. Sounds pretty nice. I like it. I very much like it. Beauty of this bike, because this is not a 280 crank, 75 crank. She doesn't mind to stay on the very low RPMs. This bike, even in fifth, at 1500 RPMs, it pulls you out of the corners. It's very smooth. People are saying it's underpowered. It's not. It's just a different character. It's not far away from the power of the T7. Yeah, it's not as powerful. It's really a different character, but the character of this engine is very nice. People go in for the 850s with the newer generation, the 75 crank, whatever it's a 280, can't remember. But I probably prefer more these, and I wouldn't change it. Now, next thing, obviously you see the bike is slightly nicer. I think it's a big improvement on this bike when you remove this big square plastics here. Obviously now there's exhaust there. It makes it look very old. Once you remove it, it's beautiful. And you can see there's a square here underneath on the disc. That is your storage. There's a cover here that you open with the key, and I have my compressor, my tools there, which is very handy. I kept that. So tail tie kind of comes out, very easily and almost factory. This, I got my, what do I have there? Oh, tire levers, stand, so you can do it obviously just with the side stand, and hand pump for the normal push bikes, just in case the compressor, which is there, fails for any reason. Under here, I have real spare tube. On this side, I have the front spare tube, so you can use these spaces to stock all of the stuff. There's plenty of space left. Now, for the handling, another big improvement is the front end. This comes out of my Tenere 700. I bought the bike brand new. I've done the first service, break-in, and I chopped the bike in half, and I changed the suspension completely. It was better for racing. So this front end is pretty much new, almost new, probably 1,000 or 1,500 miles, including being on this bike. The whole front end, triple clamps, brakes, they fit without modifications, the bars, the commands and everything. Not completely, because I use one disc, as you can see, a single disc. The reason for that is quite simple. I didn't have a second caliper because on my race bike I use, again, a single disc conversion, which is great off-road. On the road, once you load it with the passenger, it's not quite enough. So what I did, instead of buying a second caliper, a second disc, blah blah, I just put the L1 2018 or 19, I can't remember the model. Anyways, I use a 320mm disc with a space on the caliper, and YZ pump with the sensors of brakes, lights, all work as it should be, and it's beautiful. It's great. It's very good. It's good feedback. Strong enough. Is as you want it. Commands, obviously on this side, electric ones. I've redone all the electrics from this side. So horn, lights, indicators, which are LEDs with the LED relay, because it has to be different. Everything is brand new, fresh. You know, it feels better. It's cleaner. It's just all stuff was getting old, so just refresh it. On this side, I kept this one, the start button original, because I like them, because it's very old school, 90s, early 90s. And then these bikes are new refreshing after being old, because you can't jump on a 30-year-old bike and everything is 50 years year old and expecting to work great, because it's not. You have to refresh it. Stuff like consumables. And with that comes the throttle command. This is Domino from Italy. Not the cheap one, it's an expensive one, one of the best. New cables and everything, and it's just perfect. Just very nice. The bike rides beautiful, like new bikes now. What else? Heated grips, Oxford, very handy. These plastic ones from the T7, I find them very good. Off-road use, not really, because it's only plastic. It won't protect much. But the wind protection on these is incredible. It's very good. I know my dodgy, just 2 bolts to fit these mirrors, but I like them very much because there's nothing sticking out like a Mickey Mouse. It's just nice and clean. I like them very much, these. And I put the same ones on my T7 when I have to use it on the road. Phone holder, or the GPS holder, or the logbook holder. So I want to do this kind of rallies with this, but never had a chance. It's stainless, and the bracket actually goes inside the fairing, and it bolts to the metal front end, kind of the naphtha holder, or whatever you want to call it, standard. So this is solid phone holder, or whatever holder you want. There's a power output there, so there's USB, charging port, or whatever. If it's roadbook, you have the power for there. If it's GPS, you have power for there. If it's phone, then you have the power for there. There's also, which is good quality gauge for the engine coolant temperature, which is important. And a small Chinese, this was very cheap from eBay, but it worked actually very good. New electronic dash. Wasn't too difficult to install it. Everything works. Your speed, your RPMs, and all the stuff you need to have it there. So yeah, pretty simple. Quite a lot of work went into all of this, but it was definitely worth it. This is my fuel gauge. This is because these bikes didn't come with a fuel gauge back in the days. You just have the reserve. So when you're chalking up end of the fuel, you have to be quick to open the reserve. While you're riding, and then you have, I don't know how much, but yeah, you have to need a petrol station. This, at least you can see it now. This part is when it's full, usually goes from here to here, which is the most of the fuel tank. You don't really see it when you ride it. You can, but it's not really advisable. But when you stop, when you're stationary, or with traffic lights, you can just have a quick glance and you know exactly where your fuel is at, whatever. Obviously, T7 front wheel and everything from T7. The back wheel is original, it's very strong, brand new tyre, almost brand new tyre in the front as well. Just had the roll cage crash bars arrived. These are can't remember the company in Romania. They've done actually a very good job. I like it. Everything is well proper, it's solid, it's mounted nicely, fits perfectly. But I had to modify the front end because obviously the forks are bigger diameter than the original ones, because these are upside down. They actually put on the front of these bands, I had to modify it. Now, plays everything perfectly. there's not much more to say on the bike, you know. It's a lot of small modifications, small improvements to make it work proper with all this stuff. The gear shifters, slight improvements, all small things, but just get the bike a bit more modernized. Is a word for that? Yeah, yes. If it isn't, it is now. Bike is fabulous. I love it. Absolutely. I bought this to keep it because it's 30 years old. You know, it's an old boat, but it works so good. A friend of mine owns the Africa Twin, new Africa Twin. Jumped on this and said, well, this is much easier. It's better. If you didn't know this was an old bike, you would think this is one of the modern bikes, and you would pay happily over 10 grand for it, like all the other bikes. Fucking honest. There you go. There's another thing I'm gonna show you. I have to get the phone with me because I can't show you from this. Actually, let me put the ignition on so you see how beautiful it is. Now the screen. This screen, obviously the original one is just above this. It does fuck all. But this one, 80, not exaggerate, 80, 85 miles an hour, you have full wind protection. Honestly, this bike is absolutely comfortable. I don't know how many modern bikes in this class, because obviously if you get not Africa Twin, but a Gold Wing, for example, you're in a sofa completely, in an air bubble or whatever. But in this class bike, I haven't found another motorcycle that gives you the same wind protection. Is fabulous. So yeah, that was a great improvement. And Dakar style screen. Also, another big improvement is this. Obviously, it's a bit dirty because I'm using the bike. Bit of a screen protection and LED lights. These are your daylights, running lights, and yeah, they just look much better. Obviously, they work much better than the old school ones. Well, I think that's it. There's not much else. Lot to be done. I like to use in these, and also covers the bit of a scratch there. That's why we had the bike, someone come off and scratched it. There's a bit of a crack there, nothing major, but yeah, it will do with a set of new plastics. I'm not bothered because it's still one piece. It's still alright, but yeah. Yeah, these are mounted very nicely. That's what you see from the bike. It's quite wide with the crash bars, but it's actually quite pleasant when you drive it. One bag on the bar, you can have one bag over there, obviously, whatever. I use one on this side. Sprockets, I've changed the front sprocket for a tooth bigger one. Now we lost a bit of acceleration, and you can feel it. You can definitely feel it. Not gonna lie, but we gained so much in speed comfort. Speed comfort, I mean, this bike can stay at 75, 70, very, very comfortable, and up to 85, I would say, 80, 85. You're staying about 5,000 RPMs at 85, I think, roughly. So, yeah, it's still very good. Only thing that the bike needs now, I need to change the clutch because it's a bit hard and it's awkward. It uses the whole travel, which it shouldn't be like this. I can make it softer because the previous owner or the person he bought it from, I don't know, previously has been done. They put a reinforced clutch. You don't need a reinforced clutch if your engine doesn't make much more power. And they thought it was a good idea, and it was just a fuck up because now it doesn't work as it should. This needs a genuine clutch plates and a genuine springs. Not big expense, but it needs doing. I mean, I'm riding like this for a long time now, and it doesn't bother me too much, but I'm used to it. To make it very, very nice, everything spot on, just the clutch needs doing. That's it, really. Brakes working fine. The back caliper was reconditioned and everything. Good discs. Obviously, the front is almost new. Brembo caliper new from 87, forks and everything. Yeah, it's very good. What else can I say about the bike? It's fabulous. People these days thinking the newest stuff is the best, but it's not, honestly. Now, I have a T7, I can tell you something. On road manners or riding manners, this is better. Obviously, if you refresh the stuff the way I did it. So, fresh suspension, this has a fresh rear shock as well. So, fresh suspensions, fresh commands as a brakes, you know, the throttle cables and all the stuff, recondition the cams like I did. Everything works very nice. When you can hear the bike, it's like push of the bottom and it starts immediately, and it's just beautiful. You know, once you set these carbs nicely, you know, you have no problems. They are so nice and you know, so enjoyable to ride these bikes, especially with this engine. So yeah, people think the new stuff is the best, but it's not. It's not. Some of the old bikes are absolutely gems, you know, and if you kept them, you know, up to date, nice and fresh, you know, servicing them, keep them alive, I mean, this bike served 30 years now, and it will serve another 30 years without issues. They are very simple. There's no gizmos, no electronics, no bush, no ABS, no traction controls, no riders modes. I mean, when we started to ride like pussies, I don't understand when it happened. You know, people looking for this stuff. It's like, oh, it has to connect to my phone. Oh, fuck off. Just ride the bike. Phone is a phone. It's like you ride the bike to stay away from the social media, stay away from the phone and all that stuff. Who gives a shit? You want to play music? No problems. I put my phone there and play music in my helmet. What's the deal? It doesn't have to connect automatically. I mean, why are we paying extra for all this, for all that bullshit, and then we're not paying attention to actual important stuff? I mean, this bike is so well balanced. I mean, if you see where the engine is, find me on the market today another motorcycle with the engine mounted so low. Not because it's mounted so, because ground clearance is still good on this bike. Very similar to the new T7. But the construction of the engine, you see where the cylinder heads are. Everything is lower than the 21-inch tire. You see that tire? There's nothing above there. That's where the engine is. Everything is down there because it's rotated. This has been built and studied by the Yamaha for this purpose. Now they just, you know, they're just commercials. You use whatever they have to make as much money as possible. Back in the day, they used to engineer this stuff properly. And even when you push this bike, you feel it's like, holy shit, this is so easy, you know? And how much does it weigh? Same as the T7. Believe or not, you know, almost the same power, almost this, well, about 10 brakes less. So you feel it a little, but it doesn't lack of power to me. And I raised my T7. This is plenty enough. I don't know. I just feel very good about it. Yeah, this is what has been done to the bike. But I got too many bikes. I bought this to travel with Mrs. Mrs. Doing her license now, and she's got her first 125. And now this probably has to be sold to get a bike for her, because we're not gonna use it into. I'm gonna ride my T7 and she's gonna ride her bike, you know. And as we don't really travel, don't have a time to travel until probably for the next year or two because of business, we just gonna do more green laning and more off-roading stuff. And for that, I'm gonna use my race bike or my Husky. You know, this is way too nice of a bike to throw it in the green lanes and dented and all that stuff. It's just, no, I want to keep, you know, this bike has to be clean as it is. So yeah, there you go.